I don't know if anyone ever realized, but these old Internationals, they require a very special battery tray replacement procedure. It involves this battery tray rebuild in a can. And you want to shake this up real good, And then, this is how you look. Check this out. I might as well just do all that. Alright. Just look. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yes. I know I got a little too much up there. Don't worry. Oh, shit. My bad. Got a little hazardly there. I didn't move the wiring, so then we can make it look more like a marketplace rebuild. Forgot you don't want it on, well, screw it, it's already on the wiring. But you don't want it on the wiring, Then all of your customers will know you just rattle can that instead of putting a new battery tray in. In all fairness, though, I'm never selling this truck. And look at the rest of it. It's a patina car. So, I just want to throw that out there. Look at this. You know what you're getting with this thing. Which is really great patina, but you're not getting a restored show truck. And I've got to show you the exhaust. It's really just cobbled together. Some of it's my fault. I did some of it. I will admit it. But by some, I mean all. This is all my hackery. Because this is not really, a high dollar thing. This is, I want to drive it, and I have been driving it. I used to daily drive it. I'd like to get back to doing that this summer, so that's the goal. I know that red looks hideous, but all this pretty much is going to be covered by battery, and it's not going to be red. This is the primer. Rusty metal primer. So I'm going to let that flash for a while. And it's going to do its thing. And then I'm going to hit it with... Well, I don't know. I'm either hit with black, with a flat black or gloss or whatever I can find laying around, pretty much. Here's a can of gloss. I probably will go flat. Since it's a patina car, flat will probably look better. Probably don't want anything shiny on this thing. So, in the engine bay anyways. And we're in the midst of doing a water pump, so I'm going to go ahead and work on getting this radiator out while that flashes. And then we'll come back and do the black after that. Alright, I got the bottom radiator hose off down in there, so you're not going to see it, but it's off the radiator. And so now I'm going to try to pull the radiator out and fan shroud and fan. And we'll get on with this water pump replacement. Oh, come on now, you big bastard. Okay. this is heavy. She's a heavy brass radiator. What do we got going on? Of course, the fan actually makes it even worse. So maybe I should try to lift up the radiator and just pull the fan out. Or maybe I just worry about the fans making it better. That's for sure. Well, the pulley's getting away. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the fan back on the pulley like that. And it's definitely not going to stay because there's no bolts in it. And then I'm going to attempt to separate radiator and shroud. And just take out the shroud. That's probably going to fail miserably. So let's see what happens. It's not going to happen. Okay. I'm going to have to actually remove the shroud. Not the shroud, but the pulley. I was hoping they would stop doing that. Okay. So, I've come to the conclusion that this is not going to be easy. And get this past the pulley. Okay, so this is up past the pulley. This is going past the pulley. On that, if we can get the fan past the pulley, we'll probably be fine. Let's make this wrestle. We're going to take the pulley off. Just hoping I can get away from that. My main concern right now is that fan damaging the core. That's why I'm not going too wild with it. This doesn't make any sense. Is this somehow working? Maybe? This is getting better? Maybe this is getting worse? I can't tell you. Okay, what is going on? It's not making very much noise, but maybe just sweep the radiator out here. Just make sure we're not. Hopefully, we're at least keeping the damaging of the radiator to minimal. I don't think we're damaging it. I got this crammed. Well, I kind of hosed myself there, didn't I? What were you thinking? I hate to do this, but I think I'm just gonna give this a little love tap. This shroud here is stuck. Well, that's not really helping us. Okay. Wow. When we got the fan out, the shroud. The shroud's stopping us. currently. I'm not sure why or how, but it is. It's hitting on the battery tray on this end. And it's okay. Okay, that can go down. Sure. And the compressor's kind of in the way. Why must this truck have AC? I'm going to give this a little tap in that direction, and it's probably going to fall back in. That's fine. No, I don't want you to do that. Why does it do this? No. You look in here. I need to separate these two, but I can't. It's too far away. Thank you. I didn't damage the core somehow. Thank God. Alright. Shroud out. Hopefully this stuff. I might have bent these tabs a little bit. There we go. I think they're bent back already. So much room for activities now. That was way harder than I really think it should have been. But it is what it is. It's done. I think we'll just take this pump out now. It'll get you in here so you get your peepers on it. So here we are. How much space we got in here now? So much room. Ooh. One of our horns is just swinging down in there. So we'll remount that wherever that horn's supposed to be when we put the radiator back in. I think it might have been on one of the radiator bolts over here. So we'll just let it. It might have been on one of these radiator bolts. I don't remember. We're just gonna let it hang out over here. Ain't looking too bad under there, really. Other than that, she's a little reduced right here. You'll have that on these jobs. So I think we'll repair that correctly while we're in here. And by that I mean, where's the spray paint? What's Derek do? Okay, rebuilding. That's what he does, right? Brand new. I normally want to do that black because it's supposed to be blue, but this is what I have. And listen, you're never going to see that with the radiator in here, so just be quiet. You'll never see that with the radiator in here. No one has to know. Let's rebuild this. All this rust in here. There we go. New, what is that? Lower core support? That's what we'll call it. So now, well, we're going to pull off this water pump, so that should be a party. And I got the new one already. All fancy and black, wherever it went. I don't remember what it did with it. It might be under this box. That's nice. Nope. I don't know where it went. But we'll get this old one off and I'll go and put it on. But before that, Well, we'll wait till the water pump's out, then we'll paint on that. And I'll be right back. Well, I'm back, and the pump's not off. I found you have to take the pulley off, which is fine. I have to take it off anyways. That'd be easier with the pump off the truck, but because it wouldn't be, I'd be able to hold it still easier. But if you're wondering on these internationals, apparently, I'm going to show you. There's 4 bolts that hold the pump on the pulley on the pump, is what I meant to say. And, well, the holes are down in here. The holes are down in here. There's one, there's another, and there's 4 of them all the way around the pulley in the inside of that little gutter. You pull the first pulley off on this particular travelall, which is, what is this thing? 1000C with, I think, the 345. I believe that's what this engine is. Don't know. I haven't ever looked at the numbers to know for sure. And then there's some spacers. Well, we're going to take note of these spacers. There are 2 spacers in between these pulleys. So what I like to do is take your spacers out that were in between the pulleys. Take your bottom pulley out. Now, well, this isn't the bottom pulley, is it now? So now we're going to do what I call the reverse stack. We're going to take the spacers that were on top of this pulley and place them on top of this pulley, like so. And then we're going to take the pulley that was on top of this pulley and do the same thing. And then we're going to grab this other, we got another spacer. We got a single spacer this time. So we're keeping track by putting the parts how we found them, essentially. And now we got the bottom pulley, which is being a little more stubborn. So we're going to give it a little wiggle. And it's come right off. And then we're going to do the same thing. You guessed it. This one, keep in mind, this was orientated this way. So we want to put it back this way. If we put it this way, it's going to be wrong because it's going to put this pulley out further than it should be. So it goes like this. We want to keep in mind. So that means this is going to go here on the bottom like this. And we're going to stack all the other pulleys on top of it. We're going to put it over here, though, so it's out of the way. So we're going to stack all of our pulleys just like that. In the order in which they came off, and the spacers also in the order they go on. So then we know how they go. Now I'm going to flip it over upside down, so when we reassemble, we'll be taking off in the order to put them on. So now I'm going to pull off this water pump. As you can see, it's right here now, out in the open. Original water pump from 1968, and it's shot, which I am not surprised at all that it's leaking through the bearing, because this truck is all original, never been apart, and she's got, I don't remember how many miles now, but a decent amount. She's got 132,220 miles. Original miles. So, it's a good old reliable truck. It's just components are failing because they're old as hell and they have a lot of miles. Not really. Necessarily. It's not really a crap ton of miles, but for an industrial engine like this, but it's just a lot of years, mainly. So, I'm going to get this pump off, and we're going to go get the new one. I guess. There's nothing else to do. A little tip on these water pumps, really anything you're taking off, if it's stuck by the gasket like this one, because it's been on there forever, you can do one of 2 things. You can get a screwdriver behind it somewhere, like this, and then pry it. Or if you're worried about messing up the gasket surface, sometimes you can just literally grab on the shaft and wiggle them off. This one doesn't look like it's going to do that. But we can also just give this a little shock with the hammer. Not anything extreme, but just a tap. And then usually just a light tap like that, and it's free. Oh shit. I didn't have a pan under that. Oh well, too late now. And there you have it. There's our pump. Yummy. Oh, it looks delightful. No, not really. Anywho, so there's our old pump. Let's put that over here. Now we got a mess to clean up in here. I'm going to clean up the inside of the pump housing, and I'm going to clean up this gasket surface, and then I'm going to get the new pump on, and we'll be good to go. Got her all cleaned up and ready for the new pump, so we're going to go get that in a second, but first, we'll finish off this Craigslist rebuild. Just a little... Oh, hang on. Okay, the tip on this can, I think, is ass. I don't know what's going on with it. But this is flat. It should dry in a nice flat finish, so it won't be glossy or anything like that. And the only reason we care about it on this truck is I just don't want it to look gaudy. This tip sucks. I just don't want it to look gaudy and shiny and new on this patina car. This is not a very good can of paint. This high performance tip is not high performance at all. Should have masked off that other shit we don't want to get black on, but it's too late. We're just gonna pretend that stuff didn't get black on it. And the other color, and the other red primer. Just gonna pretend none of that happened, because that's the wrong thing to do. And yeah, we're just gonna ignore it, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I could clean it off and all that, but it's way easier to ignore it. Get some black paint on this so it'll look less heinous. Okay, this is enough butchery for right now. It'll look fine when it dries, or fine-ish. I don't know how fine it will actually look, but it could probably be worse. We're freshly rebuilt. Oh yeah. And it's not like perfectly painted, not even close. It's actually a really bad job, which is fine. It matches the truck. Where the truck is not perfect in any means, and never will be, because I'm not going to spend $100,000 probably to restore this one. So I just like driving it, and I don't want to take it off the road that long. Found our new pump, which is freshly painted flat black, so that way it won't be noticeable. It's a brand new shiny pump. I almost went international red on this, but I figured this would be less noticeable when the engine is, yeah, there's not a lot of international red left. So thought a bright international red might be a bad move. So we went with this for this truck. So we'll get this put on. And I think we got a new gasket with the notch. The notch goes to this notch here on the block. So, well, not on the block, we're on the water pump housing. There's a notch there. There's a notch here. So you put that notch to that. And this notch on the gasket has to go there too, or it will leak, like I said. Ask me how I know. I just know. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted on there. And we'll be good. We'll have a black water pump mounted on our block. And do you think this thing leaks a bit of oil? I think this thing leaks a bit of oil. We're going to ignore that and pretend we didn't see it, because that's the wrong thing to do. And, well, I don't have time to rebuild any engines to find out where that leak's coming from. Because there's also a leak, well, down here, over here, everywhere. But it doesn't leak too much oil. It's just like a bunch of weeping leaks, I think, because it's not using a lot on the old stick. I don't have to put a lot in it, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's probably just 50, 60 years of leaking in those spots. Well, I feel kind of dumb. I was wrong. That is not where the notch on the water pump goes. The notch on the water pump goes down here. Boop. And I know that because the pump literally will not bolt on that way. This is the only way it will bolt on because of the way the bolt pattern is. This side of the pump, the bolts are closer together than that side of the pump. So, anywho, it's on now. And now I'm going to tighten all these bolts down. Didn't bother with silicone. We're just going to trust the gasket. Hopefully it doesn't leak. I did scrape the old gasket off the housing, so hopefully we're good to go there. And probably will leak when I get the whole truck back together, and then I will have wished I used silicone. But anywho, we're just going to bolt this up tight to the block. Well, housing. I keep saying block, but this is not the block of the motor. This is just the water pump housing. So we'll bolt this up, and then we'll get to putting the car back together. We'll start it up, I guess. Well, she's in. There we have it. New water pump. And these, well, they're torqued. And by torqued, I mean I tightened them until I felt like if I tighten them anymore, they're going to strip out. That's perfect. Nope, that's wrong. Don't do that. Anywho, it's not recommended. This is fisheye, which is horrible. Great. I did try to clean all the acid out of here, and I did wire wheel it and everything. So it's not like I didn't try to prep it. It just ended up fishying anyways. I will admit I didn't really wash it. Just used some brake clean on a towel, so probably just didn't get all the acid out. What can you do? It'll at least maybe slow the rust down a little bit. So now I'm gonna get the I'll get the battery thrown in there as soon as we get the radiator and everything back in here. I don't know if I'm gonna show you much of that because it's the same thing as taking it out, but in reverse. And there's just these bolts here that hold the shroud and radiator in. So it's not that hard. I'm gonna go ahead and put the fan on and the pulley first, though. So like I said before, reverse, same thing, in reverse. So, you know, this, like this, and all that rigmarole crap. And then once all the pulleys are on, I'll get these bolts ran and get those back on. Should take long. And then we'll get to the rad and shroud and all these belts and doodads. Which I'll probably do the belts before I get the rad and shroud. Alright, that's a plan. Let's do it. Okay, this is this. So, this guy. Unfortunately, I think I have to have these somewhat lined up to begin with. So we're going to try to do that. Things coming together. Back, I think we'll fire it up. Just the belts on. Whatnot. No radiator or shroud. Just to verify that nothing sounds loose. And then we pull it. Oh, back. Well, should I say apart? I don't know. Something like that. We'll do something. Now, just tighten all these, which I had an air tool for. I'm just going to use that. Just and this. You know, listen with my ear and see if we hear anything bad sounding. Preferably not. Where's my tool that I had? I lost my air tool. Here it is. Oh shit. It's gonna be long as hell anyways. So you guys can appreciate the wonderfulness that is seeing jack shit. Video is already gonna be really long anyway. Well, help me understand how I did this last time. How'd I have this socket in here? I don't know what is going on. Maybe I didn't have this part in here, but I thought I did. Troubles. I'll be right back. Well, I got to doing it anyway. And the only thing I found, 3 belts, and there's 4. Here's the AC belt, obviously. So, I got the pulleys on. I've only found 3 of the 4 belts, which are right there. I gotta find the fourth belt, which runs the power steering pump, goes from this pulley in the back to the power steering pump, and that's the only thing it runs to, because there's no pulley down there. And it's got two that go over to the alternator and this tensioner, and it's got one that comes from here to the AC compressor. Well, it's got a little... Okay. And this clutch does work, too, so that's interesting. Obviously, new water pump sounds great. Great. So, I'll get this thing put back together tomorrow. I'm going to call it a night for me. Next time you see this thing, it'll probably be driving down the road. And, that's it. I'll get it back together, and it'll be driving down the road very soon. And unfortunately, our stuff fish-eyed. Oh well, it's going to be under the battery. You won't see it. Or, better yet, I might correct it tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to go inside and get some sleep. And we'll work on this some other day. Live another day for the travelall to be worked on. I don't know what I was going to say. This is going on long enough. You've seen plenty of it and plenty of me, so I am off.